As China shifts to a greener development mode, how may a multinational energy company adapt to the ever-changing market? Welcome to Doing Business in China, the podcast where we speak with industry leaders shaping the future of business and sustainability in the country. I'm Tu Yun. Joining me today is Roger Chen, Managing Director, CLP Holdings China. CLP Holdings is one of the oldest and largest power companies in the Asia-Pacific region, with a history dating back to 1901. So Roger, welcome to the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
Right. Let's start with some history. What was the company's vision when CLP first entered China's mainland in 1979, and how has it changed or evolved ever since then?
Yeah, as you said that, CLP was established in Hong Kong in 1901. So next year will be 125th years of anniversary for CLP. And back in late 1970s, CLP witnessed some of the starting of the opening up of the door of the mainland China at that time. And we also saw a big shortage of power in Guangdong, where Hong Kong had, relatively speaking, abundant energy. So we start our investment in China's power sector back in 1979 by investing in a power transmission system from Hong Kong to Guangdong to help Guangdong deal with the power shortage. And starting from there, we were embarking on a almost 46 years of journey of investing in China. And one of the things I want to highlight here is in mid-1980s, CLP and China General Nuclear Power Station, China General Nuclear Power Company, or we call CGN right now, jointly developed a nuclear power station in Daya Bay. That was one of the largest and most successful and most productive joint venture companies in China's history since its opening up of the door. So Daya Bay Nuclear Power Station has been supplying Hong Kong with reliable and low carbon energy since then. So in fact, this year, 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of the establishment of the joint venture of the Daya Bay Nuclear Power Station. And after that, CLP has been investing in a lot of different fields, including coal. Right now, we are focusing on the renewable energy.
Right.
And so the vision of CLP over the past 46 years of investment in China has been evolving, as you rightly point out. We start from a opportunity that, we see the massive demand of electricity. And over the past 20 years, we see the transition of the energy sector and the power sector in particular from a coal-dominated or fossil fuel-dominated industry to right now a renewable and a low-carbon dominated industry. So again, with this kind of shifting, CLP is right now very committed to continue to investing in China, but focusing on the renewable energy and the low-carbon technologies.
Right, that's it. Yeah, China used to be in the situation of a power shortage, but now everything has changed.
Yeah.
And we converted or shifted, transformed from fossil fuel-based energy model to a renewable energy model.
Yeah.
So during this process, how has your perspective on the mainland's business environment, especially in clean energy, or evolved over the years? Any unexpected shifts or insights?
I think, to me, the past 40 or 50 years, in particular in the energy and the power sector reform, provide a few very interesting insights or things that I can share with you. It can be summarized in a few points. First of all, I think the policy clarity. To start, I think the first point is really from policy continuity and clarity to market maturity.
Right.
And as you can see, for every new industry or every new sector that has been developing in China, no matter it's a renewable energy or it's an EV, government provides a lot of policy support to those industries. And when the technology is maturing, when the market is maturing, the industry can develop by itself. So we see it in the renewable energy. It used to be very expensive. Right now, it's very reasonable. So we can develop what we call grid parity project. The second thing is really we call it technology leapfrogging, meaning that with all these efforts, China has developed or has achieved breakthrough in a lot of technology, which enable it to develop those new energy in a much lower cost and more efficient way. The third thing is really talk about the strategic practicality, because China always look at things in the big picture. As long as it sets direction, it will move along with direction, but with some strategic fine tune. For example, I remember a couple of years back, there is a power shortage because of China closed too many coal-fired power stations. So in order to achieve a balance of the power system, the government has been very pragmatic in terms of maintaining certain base load of coal, while at the same time keep pushing the development of the renewables. So these are the things that I think over the past 45 years of experience in China, we've seen a very interesting development in these areas.
You didn't expect that this country can be, move so fast into renewable energy direction.
We actually didn't expect that, but in reality, China has always surprised, everyone.
Indeed, right. So over the past 40 plus years, what would you highlight as the major milestones in CLP's mainland journey then?
Again, as I said earlier, I think obviously 1979, was a very start of CLP's investment in China, and followed by 1985, we signed, the joint venture with CGN on jointly developing the nuclear power station in Daya Bay. And since then, in 1997, we invested particularly in this province, Shandong province, the coal-fired power station, and also the first ever hydro power station in Guangdong. And after that, for example, in 2010, we started our first wholly owned renewable energy in Jilin province. But that's a subsidized project. And in 2021, we commissioned the first ever grid parity project, which meaning that without any subsidy. So look at these milestones. I think CLP is growing and growing our journey, growing our portfolio together with the growth of China's renewable energy sector.
And personally speaking, which one or which milestone would you say is the most exciting one?
Oh, definitely 1985 when we signed a joint venture agreement with CGN to jointly develop nuclear power station in Daya Bay. Because right now, of all the electricity consumed in Hong Kong, 25% of the electricity is coming from the 2 units in Daya Bay, which provides Hong Kong not only with zero carbon electricity of nuclear, but also affordable and reliable supply for over 30 years.
That's very exciting and very important for the development, especially in that now Greater Bay Area.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And has CLP adapted any specific technologies or models for the mainland market? It's to a lot of people, the mainland market is a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
Especially from other markets like your Indian markets or Southeast Asian. Yes.
Yeah.
What about that?
Yeah, I think again in China, CLP has been adapting ourselves to not only the policies or the regulatory environment, but also the technologies or business models. For example, right now we are developing some solar farm projects in Jiangsu province, and we take advantage of the local environment. For example, there are lots of fish ponds, there are lots of agriculture lands, and we use this what we call agrovoltaic or aquavoltaic
Right.
type of solar farm development model to develop the solar farm at the same time to preserve the land below the solar panels to grow, for example, the agriculture products, or to continue the fishing for local villages. So with that, we can achieve the benefits of not only the zero carbon electricity, but also some economic benefits for the local villagers.
Right.
So this is just one example. Another example I can make is in the Shandong province. For example, we are commissioning the largest centralized control system of CLP China in Jinan in the next couple of months. Once it is commissioned, we can use that to control all the projects in Shandong once they are in operation. So this will significantly increase the operational efficiency of our renewable projects, and at the same time can help us to cut cost.
I didn't expect that a power company can, extend its business into agriculture and being such a supporter to environmentally friendly agriculture.
Yeah, it is quite common right now, but back then it was to us quite innovative.
And let's delve into the challenges.
Yeah.
Operating in any large market means there definitely will be a lot of challenges going forward. So what have been some of CLP's most difficult experience in the mainland, and how did the company navigate those situations then?
To me, probably one of the most significant challenges that we faced was during the COVID period.
All right.
Because as a Hong Kong company, because of the all the restrictions of traveling during that 3+ years, so it's quite difficult for us to manage our assets, which spreads out over 15 provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities in China, from headquarters in Hong Kong. But I think here I would really like to thank the local government support to help our assets in various regions to continue to run and to operate in a very efficient way during that period of difficulty. So this is obviously a very challenging time.
Right.
And so overall, I think CLP has been quite fortunate in China to obtain a lot of supports from the local governments as well as from the central and the provincial governments. And with that, we can overcome a lot of challenges we have been facing.
Like what? Can you give us a small, a specific example then?
For example, one of the things that we are facing is the local, in particular, when we develop some, wind farm in a very hilly type of terrain, and if you want to, build a very, large wind farm in those places, the support from the local governments, local villages are very critical. I still remember, one of our projects in Yunnan province, for us to transport all these, big wind tower, turbines and also blades, which is, could be longer than 100 meters through those, very mountainous, road to the site. It requires a lot of local, government and village support. And so I think this is, obviously a very challenging thing.
You can get such kind of support in other areas or other countries?
It's you can still get support, but I think it might not be that coordinated.
Right.
Yeah, and also it might not be that cost effective.
Fair enough. And as a long-term investor in mainland's power sector, how are you adapting your strategy, especially when it comes to emissions trading, grid parity, or renewable subsidies?
Yeah, I think these are the questions that to me is very interesting. Let's take a grid subsidy or renewable subsidy as a first thing to deal with.
Right.
And in fact, this is also something that I want to advocate through certain channels, because although CLP has been very committed to support China's 2030 carbon peak and 2060 carbon neutrality targets, but we do see the delay of the payment in subsidy creates some burden to the financials of companies. So I think this is the areas that absolutely we want to see some
improvement,
good progress in solving that kind of thing. But back to your question as to how CLP has been adapting to the various trends in China over the past 40 plus years. Again, we start our journey in nuclear, and later on we invest in a lot of coal-fired power stations, because at that time China was short of electricity, short of power. So we invest a lot. But when we see a very clear policy trend or very clear commitment from the central government to gradually phase out those fossil fuel development, we also adapt ourselves to switching from investment in that area to the renewables. And I can share with you the first few projects in the renewable sector in China at the middle of 2000s. The cost is way too expensive, but we still invested because we saw the good prospect of such investment in China, and also the long-term trend. And later on, when the price of wind turbines, price of solar panels went down significantly, we see the benefits and opportunities in investing in the grid parity type of projects. So step by step, we are following the footstep of China's overall economic development and the policy and the regulatory development to adjust and adapt our investment in China.
And can you give us a rough idea how much, or the spending? You said it's in the beginning it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
And how much have the costs been reduced ever since?
I don't know about other companies. Speaking from CLP's own experience, at around like 2000, early 2010s, if you developed one solar farm, the cost per watt is over 10 RMB. And right now, the cost per watt is probably 1 to 2.
Right.
It's almost like 10 to 20% of the cost.
Really
back in the early 2010s.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
so it's quite significant, 80% reduction. And the good thing is, it still continues to decrease.
Oh, right.
But I'm sure that the pace of or the magnitude of such cost reduction will not be as high as back in 2000 or 2010s.
Right. Then to the question, if you had to describe CLP's China journey in just 3 words, that's a little bit difficult. What would they be and why?
To me, if you ask me 3 words, I can probably think about commitment,
right,
and partnership, as well as transformation. Commitment is quite obvious because CLP is a company that has already existed for over 124 years, and obviously will continue to grow by taking a long-term view. So the commitment, not only the commitment of the government of China in terms of decarbonization, in terms of clean energy, but also the commitment of CLP as a company in the renewable sectors and in the zero carbon sector in China. The second thing is really talk about a partnership, because if you look at those very successful transactions or very successful investment, they all require good partnership, being your business partner, being the local government,
right.
being your equipment supplier, being your EPC contractor, for example. Let's take the nuclear investment in Daya Bay as an example. CGN, which is one of the major nuclear players in China, has been developing this long-term partnership with CLP for so many years. So I think this is a very typical example of a good partnership. The third thing is the transformation, because CLP has always trying to adapt ourselves to the ever-changing environment. So I guess we also have to transform ourselves to make sure that we are following the overall environment of the external environment. Yeah.
Indeed, without a long-term commitment and a good partnership, nothing can be achieved.
Yeah, all very difficult to achieve. Yeah.
Right. And what advice would you give to other energy companies that intending to enter this market, especially in China's low carbon sector?
To me, I think obviously, first thing I would give our peers is that China is big enough, and so China, is a big market with 1.4 billion people. So the demand is there. So there's a lot of opportunities here in China. So go for it. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is really about the patience. Don't try to make some quick money out of this market. Be patient, like what CLP has been doing. We've been investing in China for over 45 years. It will continue to many decades, to come. So I think these two things, maybe is something that I can, give to our peers.
That's a little bit general.
Yeah.
Can you give us some, like a recipe of CLP's own, or?
So to me, I think some of the advantage that we have in China, take developing renewable energy as an example. We feel that we are competitive in certain areas.
Right.
For example, we are having very good relationship with the local governments. That takes time to build, right? So I think that gets back to my earlier advice of being patient, because building relationship with all levels of government really takes time. The second thing is, leveraging your foreign investor status. For example, Hong Kong is positioned itself as a super connector and a super value adder between China and the rest of the world.
Right.
CLP, by sort of leveraging Hong Kong's overall positioning, CLP is also committed to, be a super connector and a super value adder in energy sector, in power sector. And one thing that we are seeing certain advantage of CLP over all competitors in China is our reputation with international investors, with international customers, and with those customers that is very committed to ESG. So we help them to decarbonize by structuring some a long-term contract for green energy certificate or green power. So when we growing our business, we also help our customers to growing their business as well.
Or maybe go directly to CLP and set up some joint venture with you, or directly invest in CLP.
Yeah, that could be another thing, but it's probably beyond my
right.
expectation on that one.
Understood. Yeah. Right. Where do you see the most promising growth opportunities in the next decade? Offshore wind or distributed solar or perhaps digital energy solutions?
Yeah. To me, I can see a few trends. One is obviously in the renewable sector itself. And we see quite mature development or massive development in onshore wind and onshore solar. But we also see a very good start or a good trend of developing offshore wind. So I think on the renewable sectors, obviously there are still a lot of opportunities to grow in this area. The second part is really about the nuclear and also those emerging low or zero carbon technologies. And to me, because CLP right now has two nuclear assets, all in Guangdong, and we see a lot of benefits of this particular energy. And we also see China is particularly strong in the nuclear development because of our robust supply chain, because of our very good track record in developing nuclear power stations under the budget and on schedule. So this is something other countries have not yet to achieve. So I think going forward, nuclear would definitely be a very key pillar of the whole energy mix in China if we want to gradually phase out fossil fuels. The third thing is really we call it the smart grid and also some related technology. Because at the end of the day, you build massive renewables, you build a lot of nuclear power stations, but how you transmit those technology or those power and energy to end users, in particular during currently the AI era, right?
Indeed.
So and also don't forget the renewable energy is notorious for its intermittency. So again, build a very robust and resilient transmission system will help the whole world to decarbonize and to be able to achieve a sustainable development. China is certainly leading in all these three areas. And so that's why I think investing in China and with these three areas in mind is something that CLP is very excited about.
You highlighted nuclear energy, but in some countries like Japan or even in Britain, there are a lot of incidents featuring nuclear leakage, which makes a lot of people very concerned about its nuclear safety, right, of such a power plant. What makes you so confident that nuclear power is the next thing or the future of power generation then?
To me, right now nuclear technology has already evolved into what we call third generation nuclear reactor technology. It's much safer and much more efficient than the older nuclear reactor technologies. And in particular for China, we have taken the nuclear safety very seriously. So we have excellent track record in nuclear safety in China. And also, if you look at China's regulatory body in nuclear, they make it very clear that there should be absolute safety for nuclear development.
Fair enough. And lastly, looking forward, what's CLP's long-term vision for China's mainland in the context of clean energy and sustainable growth?
To me, I think the sheer market size of China provides a lot of opportunities. When you look at a market, you have to definitely look at the potential of that market by judging the size, because China is big enough. We are not targeting a very big share of market in China, but even with a small share of market in China, it's already big enough for companies like CLP. So I think the market is very, very big. The second thing is really the policy support and also the policy continuity, because we see a very strong commitment and also very clear direction of the governments of China to develop renewable energy, to develop low carbon or zero carbon environment and in economy in China. So we definitely see a lot of opportunities by leveraging that policy support and also policy continuity.
Right. Roger Chen, Managing Director, CLP Holdings China. Thanks for sharing with our audience.
Thanks again for inviting me.
This is CGTN Radio. Hear the difference.